The sights, the monuments, the faith are beyond belief. But beyond the ancient homeland you've always known, discover how all of Israel is beyond belief. Immerse yourself deeper. Reawaken your passion. With 1,000 new perspectives, your heart will stay, but you will return renewed and amazed beyond belief. Your journey begins here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Global Village. I'm your host, Buddy Kunana. Now, on this show, we take you around the world, and we also highlight and discuss issues and topics that affect the global community, especially those that focus on the Philippines' relationship with the rest of the world. Now, tonight is a power-packed show, folks, because we're featuring Israel, a very dynamic, exciting, beautiful country, and we've got a lot of guests lined up. And joining me now for the first segment of this show is none other than the Ambassador of Israel to the Philippines, His Excellency, Ambassador Effie Ben Matitiao. Ambassador, welcome to Global Village.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's such a pleasure to have you, sir, on the show because, as we spoke earlier off camera, I've been to Israel several times, and I think it's an amazing country. I have very much deep respect and admiration for your country and its people.
You know that I'm biased.
No, it's definitely a pleasure now to share it with the Filipino audience. Okay, let's start first with you, sir. Quick introduction. Who is Ambassador Effie Ben Matitiao?
Well, I am a veteran of the Foreign Ministry of Israel for quite some years, and in many ways I fell in love with Asia years back, and so I became ambassador of Israel to Vietnam in the past. I was in Vietnam in the mid-2000s, early 2000s, and now ambassador to the Philippines. So this is an area that really provokes my real interest.
Very good, very good. Your surname Matitiao, I understand, has a it's very special, in the sense that it means something that the English term is Matthew. Your name is actually the origin of the name Matthew that we use in English.
Well. All starts with the Bible. That's something that we share in common. I mean, the Old Testament, and definitely, I mean, when you look at the names of later on Christianity and the Latin world and other parts of the Western culture, I mean, many of the names are coming from the Bible. So, and they still carry the original sound and name. Daniel, Gabriel, Michael. All of them, by the way, are biblical names with this, and Emmanuel, of course, for which we have also a very unique relationship with the Philippines, because there are two Emmanuels who actually had a great impact on Israel. Manuel Quezon,
of course, yes.
And Manuel Rojas.
Yes.
So these are the stories that kind of bind us and connect us together.
Yes. What does Matthew or Matitiao mean?
It's a gift of God. Matatiao. But if you look at Jesus, it's actually Joshua. If you look at the original version, it's Joshua. So in a sense, I mean, it is a further development of Joshua.
Yes. Ambassador, how long have you been in the Philippines so far?
Well, that
been a while.
Me to, in a while, yes, 28 months in Manila, 4 months on EDSA. Together, I'm 32 months in the Philippines.
I'm serious. That's probably an actual statistic right there.
I'm trying to count it. I mean, no, that's already, I mean, a part of our humor and a part of our what we call cultural heritage of being in the Philippines.
Actually, Ambassador, when faced with this day-to-day adversity, I mean, I think the best thing to do is really just take it lightly and try not to think about it too much. No?
Oh, I mean, humor is an inseparable part of our nation. Jewish humor is well known, so we are quite attracted to this part, by the way. And yes, there are certain things you cannot change, so you have to live with and coexist.
Okay, aside from the traffic situation, how do you find the Philippines? Let's leave the traffic out of it. How do you find the Philippines, your stay here? You enjoy your stay?
I have to share with you, years back I was a spokesman of the Foreign Ministry in charge of the foreign media. So I used to greet the foreign journalists with the message, welcome to the country of never a dull moment. However, if there is a dull moment, we make sure to change it. So 15 years after, I'm in the Philippines with the slogan, it's more fun in the Philippines, but I can tell you it's never a dull moment too. Definitely, I mean, a great experience.
Very good, very good. Ambassador, how would you describe Israeli-Philippines relations today? I know our countries. Let's reverse first and talk about the history. How did it all begin?
Now we can use actually a very good analogy to numbers now, because this year we are going to commemorate the 80th anniversary to the story of Manuel Quezon and the rescue in the Philippines, the open door policy,
yes,
prior to World War II. This year is also the 70th anniversary of Manuel Rojas' story, where he was the only Asian head of state and the only Asian nation who voted for the creation of Israel in the United Nations. And 60 years to our diplomatic relations. 60 years, by the way, we celebrate also 60 years to the creation of Mashab, Israel's Agency for Development, which
this
is
year, 2017, all
of this 2017.
How significant.
So we are, if you want to take a journey into our joint history and relations, I will go through those very clear,
Very
jubilees,
yes,
jubilees and anniversaries, which is very, very interesting. But Quezon, in a way, laid the emotional foundation, because he was among the very few head of states who was ready to open the gates of Philippines prior to World War II, in a time where
yes,
it was probably the darkest chapter in human history.
absolutely.
And here was a shining spot in the world, a shining moment in Filipino history, very typical, by the way, to nature of Filipinos in general. It's a very
Open, very welcoming,
very receptive, very welcoming. So he created the open door policy, where was ready to receive tens of thousands of refugees. Unfortunately, the politics of the time, not the Filipino politics, prevented it. And more importantly, the people of the Philippines reacted to this open door with open hearts. So that was a unique chapter in our history, which has, by the way, some very interesting twists, because I remember the President Duterte came to the synagogue a few months ago, and he apologized for some remarks he made about Hitler.
He did. He went to the one in Makati, right?
Yes,
Here
he
in
came to the
Makati
synagogue
City.
and made
Yes.
he made really an extraordinary statement of apology. But in his statement, he mentioned something that I don't think that most Filipinos know. His wife, Elizabeth Zimmerman, is a granddaughter of one of those refugees.
Well, Zimmerman is a very Jewish name.
Yes. But her family roots from one side,
Yes,
from her, I think, grandfather is German, but a German Jewish person who came to the Philippines thanks to Manuel Quezon.
Imagine that.
So Manuel Quezon actually saved the life of that person who created the generations that Elizabeth is a part of.
Yes, and I understand President Quezon he opened up even his own personal land,
Exactly.
for the use of
Yeah.
these refugees fleeing the harassment in Europe.
Exactly. It was really an amazing story, because he created a kind of a kibbutz on his ground. So, the
Yes.
first kibbutz in the Philippines.
Okay, for the people watching us now who are first hearing the word kibbutz, what is a kibbutz?
A kibbutz is actually a communal village, the closest success story to a communist village, which has a very strong communist nature within the structure, but behaves very capitalistically without. Namely, it's a kind of a contradiction in terms. Communism within and capitalism without.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
and it was the foundation to a very large degree of the new Israeli society.
Very good, very good. And so, just to rattle off the significant dates, we have, of course, 60 this year, which is the 60th anniversary of
the
our
creation of
relations.
our diplomatic relations.
Very
yes.
good, very good.
That was late 57, early 58. We signed the treaty, the friendship treaty. So it's really great dates to celebrate and commemorate.
Yes, and I understand, Ambassador, that our ties now are very close, because especially since the Philippines is benefiting from several programs that your government is offering to help let's say, in several sectors here in the Philippines. And this is being spearheaded, I think, by the MASHAV, which is the aid, the international aid, program or office of the Israeli government.
Our equivalent to the U.S. aid with less zeros in the budget. That's
Okay. No, but humor aside, I think it's very generous that you guys have started this program, and I understand that it is benefiting not a few Filipinos, right?
Quite a lot. This is one of the foundations in our practical relations, bilateral relations for years. We had a great number of projects in our, especially the agricultural field. It developed into so many other things, especially now with the combination of what I call the PPP, public-private partnership, where MASHAV supports the capacity building for a group of universities that are involved in an OJT in Israel, which every year sends 500 to 550 students on an annual basis of Philippines, agri students to Israel. And they are spending there a whole year in what we call the most advanced agricultural environment to instill in them the idea that agriculture is not about mere existence or subsistence.
Yes.
It's really a good business, and indeed it's a good business. And we hope that they will be what we call the leaders of change.
Yes.
So we have a great cooperation with a group of 29 universities, and I hope that Dr. Guillermo from Tarlac University, the head of Tarlac University, who is here, will be explaining more about their project and the meaning of that for the community.
Yes, sir. So in the next segment, we're going to have Dr. Guillermo from Tarlac University, and of course, one of proud MASHAV scholar, Dr. Lial, who is pioneering Israeli technology in musculoskeletal rehab medicine. So, Ambassador, thank you very much. We're not going to say goodbye yet because I'm going to have you at the end of the show to talk about the future of Philippine-Israeli relations.
Thank you very much.
So guys, stick around for more of Global Village and Israel when we return.